All right, what's up YouTube? So today we are back here with a highly requested video. Today we are going to be installing this stub turbo by 3.8 Performance. Let's go ahead and jump straight into this installation video now. So pretty much you would have the stock airbox right here, but it's pretty similar in this situation. All you're going to want to do is get the stock airbox assembly out of the way. And the way you do that is we're going to disconnect this guy right here. And as you can see right here, there's another hose clamp. And we're going to get those two guys situated. After we have those situated, we're going to come down here. And we are going to take out that bolt right there. And this whole assembly should pop out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So now that we have the intake removed, we can disconnect our wastegate actuator right here. This is our electric wastegate actuator connector right here. Basically just push in right here on this tab and pull up on it, easy. And then we're gonna go ahead and actually take off that actuator on the turbo. So it's pretty easy. It's just 4 bolts and a little C-clip right there. And I'll show you guys how to take it out. So the way I would take out this little retaining clip right here, pretty much all I do is get a flathead that's gonna fit this little hole right here, that little area. And basically all I'm gonna do is put pressure on it like this and push it out. And eventually you'll get it out, and then just make sure you have with your other hand, there's some needle noses or something to hold it, to pull it out, or just use your hand to hold it whenever you're doing this too. Just make sure you don't lose it, because that retaining clip is very important. Without that clip, the arm would go all over the place. So I'm gonna take it off real quick. Then I'm gonna come over here, take off these 4 10mm, and then the wastegate actuator will be removed, and we can go into our next step. So the wastegate actuator is now removed. If you want to know how to replace it, that's exactly how you replace it pretty much. So you just simply take it out, put the new one in, and if you need to adjust it, all you have to do is, you see this arm right here, basically you push up on the arm and go right or left to extend this arm. That's all you do. It's pretty simple. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come right here and we're gonna take this clamp off right here from the intercooler piping. Then we're gonna hit this 12mm, and then that way we can get some more wiggle room with this intercooler piping being in the way when we take out the turbo. So I'm gonna do that real quick, take off that clamp and this 12mm right here, and move on to the next step. So our intercooler piping is now free, just like this. We're pretty much gonna hit this oil feed line bolt up here. This is gonna be the banjo bolt. It's a 17mm. Once you get that off, we'll move on to taking off this guy right here, and this guy might actually leak a little bit. This is for your coolant on the left side of the turbo, and you also have another side over here. So whenever you're doing this part, make sure you have like some towels or something ready to catch a load of that coolant that's gonna spill out. So we have the oil feed line removed. This is what it looks like, the banjo bolt. It also has 2 crush washers on there, as you can see. If you guys don't know how the crush washer is supposed to be, I'll show you guys right now so I can demonstrate. That way when you guys are putting it back together, you guys don't mess that up. Let me show you guys real quick. So the banjo bolts or the crush washers are supposed to go like this. So whenever you reinstall, make sure you have the banjo bolt first, like that. Then you have a crush washer, and then you push it through the oil feed line. And then at the other side, there's also a crush washer, and then you thread this into that guy right there. So I'll show you guys later on in the video too. Whenever you can do the reinstall, that's how you do it. All right, so the next thing we're gonna be coming to do is loosening up this bolt, which I already did. This is gonna be an 18mm. Just loosen it a little bit. You don't want to take it off all the way. You mainly just loosen it now. That way later on you don't have a problem taking it off. After you have that loosened, we're gonna come to this back area over here, and you see that little clamp right here. Basically all you're gonna do over here on this side is remove this clamp, push it back, and then push this hose back with it, and that side will be free. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this side and that side, and then after I do that, we'll go on to our next step. So if you take a look right here, this also has a banjo bolt with 2 crush washers. You got 1 crush washer right here and another crush washer over there. It's pretty much gonna be the same on this side, that side, and on top right here. On the bottom part, there's a gasket actually with 2 bolts. We'll get to that in a bit. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Make sure you have a rag or a towel or something to catch that coolant whenever it starts leaking out. That side off, and we also have this side off. You can see it better right here. So both of our coolant ports are now off, so you can see. So we're gonna go on to our next step, and pretty much we're gonna be taking off this 10 mil right here. This is pretty much your V-band clamp. There's 2 of them. There's one right here and one on the bottom. So we're gonna take this one off first, or loosen it. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to rotate this to get the other one off. All right, so we pretty much have that bolt removed. I put it over here. So once that bolt's removed, you can hit this with some WD-40, and once you do that, you should be able to pop it loose just like that, pretty much. Once you have it like that, all you're gonna do is wiggle this turbo a little bit. Give it a few hits on the side right here. If it doesn't budge, get a mallet, and you're gonna wanna hit it right here and right here. So I got my mallet, and basically all I'm gonna hit is just right here. So you can see it's coming out, separating. All right, so it's got a good separation now. So basically now that we have it separated, pretty much we can, you see how where the bolt's at, it's on the opposite side of that. So basically what you're gonna wanna do is get your ratchet down here with the 10 millimeter, and you're gonna wanna hit it from the bottom. Now I've already done that, so all I did was get my, like I said, a ratchet, put it under, get it in position, and then you're just gonna pretty much take it off, okay? Or take it off or loosen it a little bit. And once you have it loosened a little bit, you're able to pretty much almost take this off, just like this. And then now you should be able to separate the turbo from the exhaust housing. Give it some little more wiggles, just like that. Now that we have the turbine pretty much separated, we are going to tackle the oil return line, which is on the bottom over here, right there, that guy on the bottom. You can see it right there, just a little bit, that guy. So pretty much, you see that clamp on there, we're gonna have to remove that clamp. Once we have that clamp off, we can move that hose to the side, and your whole turbo assembly is ready to be removed. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick and show you guys what it looks like. All right, so as you can see, this is the oil drain line right here, or hose, I guess you could say. Well, the hose is right there, but this is the hard tube right here for the oil drain line. So pretty much you're gonna wanna separate that from that. After you have that separated, then your whole turbo can come out just like this. So from here, guys, pretty much all we're gonna do is transfer pretty much the old hardware that we left on here. So the oil drain line and this coolant port on the right side. Pretty much we're gonna get it taken off, and we're gonna swap it onto the stuffed turbo. So I'm gonna try to do this as short and simple as possible. As you can see, the left side is the stuffed turbo and the right side is the stock turbo. You can totally see the difference. This has a bigger compressor wheel, and this one has the stock 19T compressor wheel. This is a billet 22 millimeter compressor wheel. So the terminology of stuffed turbo is basically taking the stock compressor housing of a stock turbo and throwing in a bigger wheel. That's pretty much like the short terminology of a stuffed turbo, okay? So a lot of you guys won't get confused. It's all it is just a bigger compressor wheel or exhaust wheel into the stock frame compressor housing of a stock turbo. That's all it is. On the back side of these turbos, on the back side of the stuffed turbo, this is going to be a 9-blade. This is better for top end power and smoother power curve. And this is going to be the stock turbo, the 11-blade. So if you guys want more information, let me know. I'll do a full breakdown video of this. You can expect gains anywhere from 40 to 80, even 100 horsepower with the stuffed turbo. All right, guys, so pretty much from here, we're gonna reverse install everything. So make sure you put over this coolant pipe onto this one on the same side. Don't get it mixed up. The oil return is gonna go on here. Make sure you use a new gasket with it, of course. Also use your new crush washers. They give you them for a reason. So I'm pretty much gonna reverse install some things and show you guys step by step some things that you might miss. First thing I wanna make sure and note is do not get your coolant ports mixed up. They go specifically on one side, okay? Same thing when installing this, make sure you do not over tighten these bolts right here because this will strip very easy. So just make sure it's nice and snug. Remember, it comes with the gasket. That's the purpose of the gasket, okay? To make sure it has a tight seal. So I'm gonna install everything real quick and go on to the next step with you guys. So I do want to point out one thing to you guys. So you can see right here that on the exhaust housing, there is a little like guide pin right there. That guide pin, I want to make sure you guys understand that it has to line up with this right there, that little hole, okay? Alright, so as you can see, I have the oil return line put back on. So pretty much I'm gonna line up that pinhole now with this hole over here. And the way how you can tell is if it's not lined up, it'll keep rotating if you do this, go back and forth. But if it doesn't rotate, and if it stays still like that, then you know you got it in the pinhole. So just like that, it's in there. So we're gonna do now. So we're gonna grab this guy and we're pretty much gonna put it back on. One quick tip for you guys that I recommend you guys doing is before, remember the bolt down here, you couldn't see it, and the one on top you could. Well, I really recommend you guys having both of these bolts face towards you. That way, when it comes to tightening this down, you're gonna have access to do so instead of struggling. So instead of you know, rotating it back and forth, now you have you can just rotate it like a little bit this way and then pretty much put your ratchet and your 10mm socket and just tighten it down just like that. I also wanted to show you guys how to do this. So let's say for whatever reason this does not line up after you're trying to reinstall this arm to this. So if it doesn't line up like this, what you can do is basically you're gonna push up on the arm and you're gonna listen for this gear noise. So you hear that noise? That's what you're gonna want to listen to. Once you do that, then it should slide right on. So basically you're just basically all you're doing is making the actuator go back just a little bit. That way it can be lined up with this. So other than that, pretty much everything else is reverse install. And whenever you install everything back together, there is a certain procedure to priming this turbo. That way you don't risk losing your warranty with the turbo, okay? But whenever it does come time to start up, you'll want to come over here to this fuse box on your passenger side. You're gonna want to locate the fuel pump fuse, the injector fuse, and the ignition coil fuse. You can take out those three fuses and you're gonna try to turn on the car. Now, when you do this process, what you're doing is the engine's not going to turn over. However, you are still building pressure in the oil system to lubricate the turbo, and that's what you want to do. You never want to start an engine dry or a turbo dry, especially like a rebuilt or a built engine, okay? So before you start up the car, make sure you do those steps, okay? So the fuses are pulled, so I'm ready to go ahead and prime the new turbo. So this is what it's going to sound like if you pull the fuses correctly. See, the car is not going to start at all. That's exactly what you want. All right, after you prime the turbo, you're going to go back and put in the fuses and turn the car on. All right, and just like that, you have officially installed a stub turbo. So anyways guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I really hope you guys liked it. If you guys want to buy a stub turbo, hit me up. I do sell them straight from 3-Pointed Performance. Until then guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.